As always, Ted, kicks off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
I had to go Major League Baseball. Now the timing, some people may hate, not like, whatever, but clearing the road, reinstating Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson to make the Hall of Fame, I think was the right move. Some people may have a different opinion, but I think that you have to open up the Hall of Fame to all parts of baseball and tell the story of the sport and of the league. And now it's up to the voters to see what happens. But that'll ultimately be the deciding factor. But I think Major League Baseball did the right thing here. We'll see what happens.
I I've always thought Pete Rose should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He's one of the best baseball players ever. That's kind of the whole point of a Hall of Fame. And why can't they just have like an asterisk section of the Hall of Fame with Barry Bonds and Pete Rose, like anyone that has anything controversial but was incredible, just put him in the asterisk wing. That seems
Yeah.
very fair. Hey, Mark McGuire, congratulations. You're featured in the asterisk wing of the hall.
Well, however, like to me, it tells the story of the sport. And, 100 years from now, whenever you go into the Hall of Fame, I think those stories are worth telling. And, whether or not it's celebrated, however you want to label it, I think it's an important part of the game that has to be shared. I mean, you, I think at times you can't just put into a dark hole or into a closet some of the bad things that have happened in the game. Um, Let the light shine on it. Let everyone know about it, and maybe they draw their own conclusions. But I think that you got to have those guys and those stories in the Hall of Fame whenever they're worthy. And I don't think there's anyone that would tell you without the blemish and that the negative mark there that Pete Rose is definitely a Hall of Fame baseball player. So just tell the story.
It feels, to me, it feels kind of messed up that it feels like they waited to do this after he died, right?
Yeah,
And
that's
to
what I was
where
saying. Like,
he
the
he
timing
couldn't
is
he couldn't feel that satisfaction. His family couldn't feel that satisfaction. It feels a little messed up, man. Like I
it
wonder
does.
how his
I
family feels
agree.
about it.
Uh,
Like, oh, now you want to do it now that he's dead?
right,
Thanks. Awesome.
right.
Appreciate you.
Yep, I agree. I agree. I mean, I think it is the right move. The timing, I totally understand that aspect of it, and I agree. But I mean, I guess it is a consolation.
When I won the Warfel Trophy, Pete Rose was down there and like spoke to the entire crowd. I had a great thing. My two speakers at my Warfel Trophy banquet were Pete Rose and Kirk Herbstreit. I had a
That's pretty
very
good.
solid year,
That is good.
but he was just cussing in front of a bunch of kids. It was, dude, he was telling stories. It was amazing.
That's
Got a
awesome.
picture with him. I was just like, yeah, that guy. I always appreciate people that are just 100% and completely themselves, no matter what the circumstances are. And that is absolutely something you could say about Pete Rose.
Yeah, you get the same Pete Rose whether you're, sitting on a bar stool somewhere or in front of a tuxedo wearing crowd.
It was hilarious. I was just up there laughing at everyone. You could tell the crowd, like half of them were like, oh, oh.
How do I react to this?
And I'm just dying laughing. Oh, may you rest in peace. But also, congratulations. Going to get in the Hall of Fame, it seems.
We'll see what the voters say. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Well,
the voters are an interesting crowd.
he's not going to get in, is he?
I don't know.
Just
Don't know.
put Bonds, put all the guys that were incredible in, and just Give them their own asterisk wing. It's fine, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who do you have as your loser of the week?
Well, I thought about going with the Sean Ryan, guard for the Packers, who missed out on his $2 million escalator by 2 snaps. For those that don't know, in the NFL, if you were picked in rounds 3 through 7 and you play in either 35% of your team's offensive or defensive snaps in 2 years, or have a cumulative 35% over 3 years, you get a $2 million escalator, and missed it by 2 snaps. And he started the majority of the season last year, played 88% of the snaps, came out of one of his starts for 8 snaps after a big collision, end up going back in and playing the rest of the game. 2 snaps, man. Brutal.
Concussion protocol cost him $2 million.
Yeah. And it's a CBA thing too. Like,
Yeah.
even if the Packers wanted to elevate him and pay him, they can't by the rules of how it's been collectively bargained. So I hate that for him, man. That's tough. Two
Dude.
million bucks.
2 snaps.
2 snaps. I hate
That's
it.
if my math checks out, he lost $1 million per snap.
Well, that's
Yeah.
right.
Two
It
snaps, $2 million. How about
checks
that?
out. Checks out.
Everyone
Brutal.
knows that this is a math podcast.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Thanks for high level calculation there. But I had to settle on for my loser, Josh Pate. He put Oklahoma at number 10 in his, I don't know, is it way too early or post spring rankings? He has Oklahoma at number 10, and while I think it's an interesting pick, he's the loser because of the hate that he's going to get from the college football world in the mentions.
No doubt. Friend of the show. We have Pate on a couple times a year. He's the best. He normally, is this the first time he's dabbled in actual rankings? Because typically his are typically power ratings,
Mm-hmm.
which are connected to like betting odds.
Right.
So I thought it was very interesting. Yeah, it's right here. Post spring 2025 rankings. He's got Clemson at 1. I think he may catch more for that than having OU at 10.
Well, here's the interesting thing about Pate. He's not. Oh, there you go. There's the Clemson 1, Texas 2, Penn State at 3. The rest of the top 25 looks like Oklahoma's schedule, basically.
Essentially, yes.
He doesn't wing it. He's not a shoot from the hip. He's not I'll just throw this out there and see what sticks. He gets, I don't know what type of necessarily what you would say inside information, but he spent a lot of time around some of these programs. And, the Clemson one is interesting. There are a lot of people that have picked Klubnik as the number 1 quarterback in the country this coming year. And, to me at first it's like, really? Is he the best quarterback? But when you have a lot of people that are kind of making that pick, it should start to tell you that they're getting information somewhere that, whether it's Dabo and Clemson's coaching staff that feels that way, or I don't know, but there seems to be a growing consensus that Clemson's going to be really, really good. And, the Oklahoma pick at number 10, I don't think, if you told me that we will have our best 22 available for the entire season, I don't think it's an outlandish pick. But I don't think we have some of the depth at some of the critical spots that we will be able, with our schedule, be able to absorb some big losses. And I mean, I think as Oklahoma fans and people that have covered the team, that cloud is hanging heavily over, the upcoming season. It just feels like we had the Giovanni Gibson deal. Now, maybe we dodged a bullet on that. We'll see. But I mean, that feels like that's going to be the main thing that is going to tell the story of this season is will we have our best players available to play?
That and as I look at the top 20 that Pate put out, you just realized how many guys all of these teams are having to replace. Especially a lot of quarterbacks, man. You think like Texas, new quarterback, Bama, new quarterback, Notre Dame, new quarterback, Oregon, new quarterback, Ohio State, new quarterback, Florida, not new quarterback, but quarterback shoulder hasn't worked for a while. OU, new quarterback, Georgia, Miami. I mean, there's so many teams that are having to replace, especially at the top of college football, a bunch of draft picks, and then a lot of teams they're going to have a new quarterback, man. Like it's one of these seasons going into where it's like, okay, if you want to put Penn State at one, not really going to argue with you. I don't know, man. Like
Right.
it feels pretty wide open heading into the 2025 season.
Well, even for Oklahoma and our schedule, the only teams that we face that are going to have a returning quarterback are South Carolina and LSU. Everyone else that we play,
Pretty
new
good.
quarterback.
Pretty good.
Michigan, Auburn, Texas. Now, these teams aren't replacing last year's quarterbacks with bums. We know that. But it still is a factor, and we fall into that category ourselves with the new quarterback. I think ours is a little bit different considering the connection between Arbuckle and Mateer. I mean, you can almost classify him as a returning quarterback because of that system, but it's unique, man. And quarterback is going to tell the story. It's borderline impossible in this day and age in college football to win the ultimate prize without having either the best or one of the best quarterbacks, in the top five or, the short list of the best quarterbacks in the country. So we'll see who ends up there at the end of the year.
Thoughts and prayers to our man Pate. His mentions are probably a dumpster fire.
Dumpster fire. That's you. You know what you're wading into with the post spring rankings, though, right? Everyone's going to be upset. There's
God,
there's no getting it right.
Godspeed to Pate State. All right, let's get to my winner and loser. But first, this saved me last night at the Thunder game,
Woo!
Ted.
That's right.
That is
That shirt may be
Mando's.
smoked and soaked, but it smells good,
I
right?
still smelt good coming home. Smelt the armpits when I took the shirt off. I was like, I smell great. It's because I'm a Mando man. Mando man. We are Mando men. Mando's whole body deodorant is safe to use anywhere on your body and is aluminum free and dye free. This is my favorite currently, the bourbon leather. But I also you can go onto their website, shopmando.com, use code OK Breakdown, and I like to get the 3-pack. Now, if you go on shopmando.com and use code OK Breakdown, you will get $5 off. This is for new customers. $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code OK Breakdown. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code OK Breakdown at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. Reminder, code OK Breakdown. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. Really helped me out last night. Thanks, Mando.
Good.
My winner of the week, I just can't. The Dallas Mavericks. What in the world?
Man,
Well, really? I mean, really?
there has long been a conspiracy theory about the NBA lottery. And this did that no good
Even the NBA putting out the video of them drawing the ping pong balls to be like, hey, listen, this was all legit. There's still people going, I don't care. The machine's rigged. You rigged the machine.
I I don't know. I don't know, but the sequence of events would suggest some irregularities going on, but I don't know.
I I do not think it's rigged because that would be, I mean, just imagine the size of the lawsuit if it was, okay? That's the way I think about it. But I like to think that the basketball gods just smiled upon Mavs fans.
Were Mavs fans happy about it, or did it make them more upset about the trade?
They do not end up with this pick if they keep Luka Doncic. It's just highly unlikely. Pretty much impossible. So they
So
win.
was them getting the pick anyways.
Yeah, they 1.8% chance of them getting the number one pick, and the Mavs lucky day, man. The reaction to them getting that pick and to just having Cooper Flagg gift wrapped to them. I mean, you laid out all of the, number one on the list of the most stunning result possible for the NBA lottery is what happened.
Yeah.
I just they jumped 10 spots. It got the number one pick. It's just unbelievable, man. And Mavs fans were as angry as I've ever seen a fan base at an organization about the whole Luka thing. All kinds of Mavs fans I know saying they were done with the Mavs. Hey, is there still room for more Thunder fans? Like, yeah, come on, man. Come on. But I mean, you had Mavs fans giving up their tickets, boycotting games, chanting to fire the GM during games. Like, it was a disaster. Just so much negative energy around the organization. And it'll be very interesting to see how those fans react to getting Cooper Flagg. Like, how will it change those people's feelings? I don't know, Ted, but I have to assume that a lot of Mavs fans are going to come back into the fold.
Yeah. I don't think that they'll probably come back into the fold, but I don't think the pressure on Nico Harrison's going to change because you can't say, oh, well, ended up being a great move. Because that makes it sound like he staked it all on a 1.8% chance of getting that makes it appear even worse, right? I mean, I don't know. It's a fascinating situation. Did you hear the clip from Greenberg talking about the lottery and that the NFL should move to the lottery because of like it to some degree cures the tanking? I mean, I totally disagree. I think the NFL does it the best way possible.
Listen, buddy, I was on a 1 in 15 team. We were not tanking. Every
It's
dude was out there practicing and playing for his job. Like, it's not, and of course, like the front office can tell the coaches like, hey, don't play this guy, but they're it's very difficult to tank in the NFL.
Yeah.
Just with how the guys are wired.
You can't convince any player ever. If you tank, it has to be done. You can't do it through the players, I guess is the best way to say it. You have to do it through, oh, this guy's got, an ankle issue. Let's hold him out an extra game or two. But the guys that go in are fighting for their life to remain on a team or to get a new contract or whatever. So, and I totally disagree with the NFL going to the lottery system.
There's when you look at the NBA, there's never going to be a system that's perfect. There never is.
Yeah.
I mean, they may try to make some of the adjustments. It is funny. Remember these new lottery odds in that system. The entire league voted on it. You know the one organization that voted against it? The Oklahoma City Thunder. The only one.
Yeah.
And it's because Sam Presti looked at it and went, hey, this can really hurt small market teams if the ping pong balls don't bounce your way. Because the small market teams, like, you have to build through the draft.
Yeah.
You're not going to attract a bunch of big time free agents. Now, I think as this new CBA and these new aprons, like, I do think the talent's going to spread out a little bit because you're just not going to be able to pay all the good players on your
Yeah.
team. So guys are going to go somewhere where they can get paid. Like, I think you have to give this new system a little more time. But yeah, I felt awful for Utah. I felt awful for Washington. Those are the two worst teams in the league, and they're picking fifth and sixth, respectively.
And basketball, the draft is totally different from the NFL because there's it feels like, and I know there's guys throughout the draft that become star players, but like going into it, it usually the NBA draft feels like a 10 to 12 player draft, and the guys at the top are like a totally different tier. The NFL draft is different. There's so many different positions and needs and elite players that are, you know, linemen, uh, edge guys, receivers, quarterbacks. I mean, there's way more availability of top-notch players, I think, throughout the entire first round. So it's not nearly as detrimental if you had to bump back 2 or 3 picks. You know, it's a little bit different the way it unfolds. But yeah, it's brutal for those teams, man.
Kevin Nagandi saying that the Thunder were getting the 76ers pick on the broadcast was not great. And Nagandi, he is emceed the Warfel Trophy banquet the last couple of years. We're going to talk about this, Nagandi, next year. Not cool, man. And I knew what he said was incorrect in the moment, but still hearing it out loud, I was like, oh, we're going to have
Wait,
the seventh pick.
what happened? There's something going on I don't know about.
But not cool, Nagandi. What are we doing? But other than that, like, my takeaway from the Mavs winning the lottery is like the West is just going to be insane, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it. You got what the Thunder are doing. Remember the Rockets, they bowed out in the first round, but they were the 2 seed. Like, it'll be interesting to see if they make any moves. The Lakers still have Luka and LeBron. Jokic, as long as Denver has Jokic, they're going to be a problem. You got the Clippers. You got Minnesota with Ant Edwards. Golden State, maybe a couple more years with Steph. I think now Dallas is going to have Flagg, and I know Kyrie's probably going to miss a huge amount of time, but Flagg, Anthony Davis, San Antonio's got Wemby and Castle, back-to-back rookies of the year, and they've got the second pick now. The Western Conference is going to be insane, and it made me start thinking because Adam Silver talked about NBA expansion this week. Seattle and Vegas. Last time I looked at a map of the United States, those cities are in the western part of the United States.
Well, that means they'd have to bump someone over, right?
You would think two teams that are currently in the West would go to the East. And
Wouldn't it
geographically,
just be one though? If you've got
you're 30 to 32. Oh, I guess do you split it evenly?
Yeah, if you add two, you just move one over because right?
Or you'd have 16 and 16, right?
Well,
Those two, it makes no sense for those two teams to be in the East, or excuse me, in
but
the West.
it's 15 and 15 now.
Correct.
If you move one over, it's 16 and 14. And then you add the two west to the west, and you'd be back to 16 and 16, right?
I think that makes sense.
I don't know who the team would be to move to the east, though. Who would make sense?
Memphis.
Yeah, that's right.
Because remember, they came from Vancouver.
Yeah. I don't know.
It wouldn't
Interesting to see if
suck if
that
they moved
happens.
the Thunder to the East. I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah.
Put a at Minnesota.
Yeah.
I but the West is in. I mean, it's going to be ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
What happens if Giannis ends up getting traded to a Western Conference team? I hope that doesn't happen. I want Giannis to play his whole career in Milwaukee, by the way.
Yeah.
That's my official stance.
Yeah. I don't know. That'd be cool though. To expansion is always exciting. I don't know. We'll see.
Would they put one of those like Vegas or Seattle in the East? That wouldn't make any sense.
No, I can't. I can't imagine. I mean, for travel purposes, you feel like it would definitely like Memphis is what you feel like would be the best. Memphis or Minnesota, like you mentioned, would make the most.
Or Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City, New Orleans.
It's
No.
probably not going to be us.
Do you really? You know? Do you really want to? Would you really want to move
No,
to the East?
no. Especially if we win it all this year, baby. We ain't scared of anybody. Let's go.
That's right.
Let's roll.
That's right.
It's kind of like an SEC, OU in the SEC mentality. Like we're going to get to see so many good games. I do
No,
think they'll have to redo the divisions, and the Thunder will be in a different division.
let me ask you this though: the how would they do? Because whenever the NFL expanded, they did the expansion draft, but you got to fill out a huge roster. How do you think that they would do that if they expanded? Would there be available players from other rosters?
I think I do not know, but yes, I would assume that would be the case. I would assume it'd be just like the NFL where you can like protect certain guys and then,
Yeah.
but I would be lying if I said I knew how that process was going to work.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Also, Trailblazers up for sale too. So that's an interesting wrinkle. Now I don't know. I assume that sale, like there's something in there that says the team has to remain in Portland, but I don't know that
Yeah.
for a fact.
Yeah.
We'll see.
No.
My loser of the week. Thought about going with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Just best team in the East all season long, and you go out 4-1 to the Pacers.
Pacers are red hot.
Correct. Really nice game from Tyrese Halliburton. Really,
Yeah.
I mean, just Pacers. I mean, got after him, dude. What'd they
Mhm.
win? 3 in Cleveland? Yeah. Game one,
Definitely won
game
the
two,
first two.
and game 5.
Yeah.
They won 3 of them in Cleveland.
It's impressive.
Very. Cleveland couldn't hit a 3 in game 5. Problematic in today's NBA.
Yeah. Can't survive that.
Now, while Cleveland's looking at it going, that's really disappointing, there's Boston.
Hmm.
My loser of the week. Losing the game and going down 3-1 to the Knicks. That's tough, right? Jayson Tatum tearing his Achilles is catastrophic. Season is over. Next season is over because he's going to be lost for that year. Just a brutal, brutal night for the Boston Celtics organization and their fans, Ted. That was tough to watch. And like watching him on the floor come to the realization of what just happened and kind of losing it that hurt my heart, man.
It's brutal.
That was tough.
Brutal. And it's been a tough end of the season injury wise for the NBA. And you know, the Achilles thing for Tatum, I mean, he's still young, 27. Usually that's a older player issue, but is maybe it's just that I know about more of them, but is that becoming more of a prevalent thing?
I I don't know. I don't know if there's any data to back that up, but it feels very abnormal for a guy like Jason Tatum to tear his Achilles.
Especially the way he did it. You know, it didn't look like And I don't know, like if you go back to like when Kevin Durant did it, he had a previous injury that he was kind of playing through. So the area was already weakened. And I don't know if that's the case with Tatum, but it didn't appear to be like a super high impact spot where you felt like something like that would occur. But you just, I don't know, you never know.
There was a video of Tatum during the timeout before it happened.
Stretching it maybe a little or
No, he was actually working on his other ankle. It looked like he was having an issue with the left ankle, and then he ends up blowing the right Achilles. So I don't know if that's I sometimes bad things just happen, man. And
brutal.
it was especially brutal. Now the Knicks were gonna win the game.
Right.
Like they were still gonna win the game. They were in control of that game when it happened, but Tatum was the only reason it was close for Boston. Like he was exceptional in that game, and he was really good on the defensive end of the floor as well. Like Jaylen Brown just had a really tough night.
Yeah.
Big time Brunson game.
Dude, he is fun to watch, man. He is an entertaining player now.
39 and 12. That'll do.
Jeez.
He's like an anomaly at his size to be able to put the numbers up he does. It's just, he's inspiring a generation of short kids.
Yeah, and his path to where he is now, he wasn't a guy that was viewed as, hey, this is a superstar player. It's just a matter of time, right? I mean, he was kind of just basically a role player, right?
That's what he was in Dallas. And then when Dallas didn't retain him and he went to New York, I think a lot of people were like, okay, well, his numbers will increase, but I don't think anyone saw this coming.
Yeah, it's awesome.
He's the face of the New York Knicks. He's the most popular man in New York City.
And there's a lot to that, man. They haven't had like a player with like this type of legitimacy in a really long time. And I imagine that place is crazy right now with hoops because it feels like they've been I fighting to get over the hump the majority of my lifetime.
I It's going to be really interesting Eastern Conference Finals, man.
Yeah.
It is. I I have no idea what to expect between the Knicks and the Pacers. But it's going to be fun. I know that. And I feel for Jayson Tatum. And one of the things about Tatum, guy seems to do all the right things, say all the right things. It's like the biggest criticism he gets is he takes too many threes and maybe his kid's around too much. Like if those are your criticisms of a guy that's a star player in the NBA, like I think he's living life the right way. So you hate seeing something like this happen to him, but luckily he already signed the $314 million deal last summer. So
That makes you sleep a little bit better if you're
yeah,
Tatum.
that as you're
I know the
going
injury
through
hurts, but
as you're going through your rehab and you're getting back, I have to imagine knowing that all that money coming your way it's got to be a little comforting, right?
yeah, it's a little bit different when you're rehabbing an injury like that and your future's uncertain. Can I come back from this? Am I ever going to be the same player? What does it mean for my career? There's some comfort when you get paid about $50 million to do that year-long rehab.
I what one of the big bummers is like 27 is when I believe like a player in the NBA's prime starts.
Peak. Yep.
That's like that's when you, for whatever reason, like that window, 27 to 30, 31.
Athletically, you still have it. You're still like in your prime, but you've built a lot of experience. You know the league, you know how it operates, you know your game, you know everyone else's game. That's whenever you should really be at your best.
So we never know how this series would have ended. So you don't get that for Tatum's prime, and then you're missing an entire season. And then we'll see what he looks like when he comes back. So this is a guy he's one of the premier players in the league. for one of the premier franchises in the league, and we're not going to get him for the whatever the rest of this playoffs would have looked like for him, and we're not going to get him all of next season. It's just kind of bummer for a bummer for all basketball fans.
Yeah, that's the brutal thing about a catastrophic injury this late in the season. I mean, it's always bad, but if it happens in, November, it's a little bit different story than whenever it happens in the middle of May. I mean, you lose everything from the coming season. But I don't know. I guess one of the things that is given the circumstance that maybe is a positive that he is to me feels like he's a adaptable player. He's not like a John Morant who his explosiveness is like the vast majority of his game. I feel like Tatum is a guy that can rely on a bunch of other assets.
Some people would say he relies on his jump shooting too much.
Yeah.
He was awesome in that game. What a bummer. I For the East, we want New York to come out of the East, right? Like if the Thunder are going to make the finals, we want it to be against the New York Knicks and not the Indiana Pacers.
Yes, not even thinking about like what the actual on-court matchups are as far as like entertainment value. Yes, I think that I would agree with that.
I have this vision of game 5 in Oklahoma City taking place and Chalamet sitting near me and
Yeah.
us getting nose to nose at some point.
Yes.
I can envision that happening. Bring it, Chalamet. Let's do this.
I like that. I like that.
He's not tall, is he? So I'll be like looking down at him.
Yeah.
Or is he tall? I have no idea. Hell of an actor, but I have no idea. Like, is he a big guy? No clue. He doesn't look like a big guy.
Very doubtful.
I bet his security is very big, though.
Yeah, there'll be some big people in his area.
I'd probably end up getting tased if I do something like that, right? Tased is the very best case scenario.
I'm all for it. Nothing can really ignite a championship run like a fan getting tased in the front row, face to face with a famous person.
Let's do it. Sign
Take
me
one
up,
for the
man.
team.
If
Take
that
one for
means
the
we're in
team.
game 5 of the NBA Finals against the Knicks, sign me up. I'll take a taser for my squad. What up? That would hurt, but hey,
Uh, Yeah,
I do
only hurt
wonder
for
if
people.
Chalamet would come to the Oklahoma City games.
I'm sure. Sure, there'll be a star-studded crowd at both venues.
I like it. We'll see. A lot of work to be done on that episode. Now I'm rattled just thinking about it.
That taser's got you worried.
Yeah, that would not be fun, but it'd be a great story.
Yeah, that's what you got to think about the pod.
My wife would be so mad at me
I
if
don't
I end up
know
getting tased on the sideline.
if it sparked a championship.
If we
Would she
won the
be mad?
championship, yeah, sign me up right now.
Yeah,
If you could guarantee it, yeah, no doubt. Maybe I'll ask. I'll ask her later, see how she feels about this ridiculous hypothetical that we've come up with.